This is Pachito's gang. And we're looking at the recent happenings in Nigeria's political space. A lot of, in 2013 or thereabout, a group of politicians came together to form APC to wrestle power from the ruling People's Democratic Party. And in 2018, it's like a similar thing is unfolding. There have been some decamping, defection, porting, all manner of things. So we're learning a new thing or adding some new things in our lexicon, in our political lexicon. So I don't know what you're doing. Are you porting? Are you decamping? Are you defecting? Whichever one. But the respect of people changing parties is becoming, well, a bit worrisome. Is it for the good of the polity or our democracy? Or is it part of democracy? These are some of the things that we look at as I have this gentleman here to talk about it. Akin, have you ported? Which one are you?
I don't know if my mind is following the mindless spotting that is going on, but the reality of the day is that it's becoming a theater of the absurd. Clearly, political scientists will tell you the reason why this is happening to us is that we have not deepened our democracy. There are no clear-cut ideologies. Manifestos or written rules are observed only in the breaches. And so the average politician gets into politics to go and make an investment. It's either I win, and if I lose, I will scatter the whole thing. It's unfortunate that that is happening, like you said. I don't know if karma is
what you just
making itself
yeah.
available to us now, but I think it's mindless, and I think it has no.
The thing you just said, if they don't win, they scatter it. It's a saying in my village about the fowl. Fowl say, well, if I don't eat it, I'll just... Why fowl scatter this before eating?
What is happening in our country is something worrisome. It cannot be the right thing. And politics is not played that way. And the show of shame that I see our politician displaying is a little bit nothing to write home about. And one of the reasons why they're doing that is because the Nigerian project belongs to nobody. Nigeria, as I've seen it, is an orphan.
What happened in the early 50s, early 60s, within the Third Republic, Fourth Republic, is a classic situation where, like the Bourbons, we've learned nothing and we have forgotten nothing. For me, I would say total lack of a sense of shame. And not just only in politics, in all facets of our lives, our religious leanings, educational institutions, situations where we believe, yes, we'll just do it and I can buy my way out of justice, and yes, you can call me a thief today, tomorrow
people will celebrate you.
I will be celebrated. Mm-hmm. And the young people are now looking at this. Otherwise, how do you explain a situation where my brother here has just described as totally unacceptable, and my brother out there says it is a bloody shame to him and to him? But to those people out there, the way they are playing their strategy is that, like it or dislike it, I'm going to come back into power. Okay, somebody left a party, went to another party, left that other party, came back to the same party. Again, the same party went to another party, which is exactly going to try and eat vomit. And at the end of the day, people go out there campaigning, shouting, even if they give them 4,000 naira or 3,000 naira or what have you, to mortgage their future. And I know the causative effect is, as you say, people are poor, people don't know what they are doing. But at the end of the day, we are the losers. Until we get back to the sense of shame, where things that don't belong to you, you don't appropriate it to yourself.
You are very correct. We can't exhaust condemning what had just happened. But looking forward, one of the things that I paid attention to, why these things are going this way. Yes, we are a young democracy. Having said that, we are still learning through the hoops. But I would think we never thrown up a president that have what I call panache. All our presidents have always been somebody, either they don't have the charisma or they lack eloquency in them, or one thing or the other. And if you understand clearly that the president is actually the driver of a party, if you understand that in everywhere, like in the United States, so that left us with people not investing interest in what is happening in their party. So it now makes them to go from one end to another end. That does not mean we are condemning that.
No, the way I see it is this. You can jump from here to here, from there to there and all that, but because there's no ideology, political ideology, that's one. And then we are closing the political space against the new entrants. Tell me, for Akin here to join PDP, for instance, he requires a humongous amount of money to contest election, and because these people have already moved, they have the money, and they'll be given the first
refusal.
Yeah, then there'll be no space for him. So they're closing the political space for new entrants by moving. Okay, when the new entrants want to move to this party and all that, and then they'll do what? They move back to APC. So they keep moving back and forth and back and all that. So it doesn't create for innovation, it doesn't create for creativity and bringing in new people unless you go through the other smaller parties, which you don't have money
you see,
to build your structure.
Often I've always said that ideology have to go with manifesto. But people seem to look at it in a different angle. Because if you're not working within your manifesto, that means that you don't have ideology ab initio.
All right, just hold it there. On that note of ideology, we have to take a break. We'll go to the street to hear from people on the street and to hear the opinion about this, the campaign, defection, reporting, and all that's going on in our politics. Don't go away. We'll be right back. This is Patito's Gang.
When the government is saying that way, it will be reduced. We don't want people that are just striving to get there.
If PDP doesn't favor me, then I can easily go to APC. So fantastic. So then if I'm APC, then if I was like, okay, no gain, I can easily go to PDP. Personal interest, fine. Then for the people, Baba, before anything, I will be able to fight for my right. Then anything that favors me, then I will go for.
It has to be both personal and corporate or collective, public. And the reason people decamp is because they are dissatisfied with where they are. And above that is because they do not have hope in where they are. Because if you are dissatisfied with where you are, it's not enough reason to decamp. But if you are dissatisfied and you have hope, you will remain there. But if you are there and there is no hope of any change, of an improvement, then you decamp. That's the reason. The elected officials we are talking about who are decamping are all very educated, very learned. So it's something they consider very seriously, like I would consider very seriously before taking a decision like that. So it should not be taken lightly. It should not be taken as with levity. It's something that should be considered by those who are enjoying the privilege of authority, of representing us at the time. So it is all right to decamp if it comes to the point where you have no hope where you are.
We are back, you're watching Potatoes Gang, and we are saying that the need for political parties to have ideologies. And again, how do we groom, the younger generation to become, more politically sagacious, if I can use that word? How do we groom people?
I think the setup of our parties naturally creates the crisis we have on the ground today. In that the party structure and financing is left in the hands of just a few people. And it's normal that he who pays the piper surely dictate the tunes. Mm-hmm. The parties are funded by a few individuals. You can call them money bags. And as such, when it comes to office taking, they enjoy the first call. Mm-hmm. The masses that join these parties just feature on paper. Mm-hmm. There's no financial commitment other than when election is coming. In other climes, a good party structure will have a good membership database. Mm-hmm. There'll be party subscription that you pay. For example, in the last election, 2015 election, we had a very high number of registered voters. Same thing with accredited voters. But when it came to actual voting, we recorded 26 million voters. To me, that's still a fair number.
No, but again, you find that in every political party, you find that less than 10% of those that vote are members of these political parties.
I will also think
that's less than 10%.
I will also
so everybody, you may be a sympathizer of one political party, that doesn't mean that you're a member.
That's why the parties have a big challenge to drive membership recruitment in the normal process.
You just said something, and I thought that's very, very revealing. We need to look at it deeper. You did talk about how our political parties
evolve,
how they get involved and or involved. You see, one of the language that I don't like that we use here in this country, so person has the structure of a party
controls the structure
or controls the structure in certain area, and then you begin to ask yourself, what does that mean?
Now, let me explain what it means.
No, whatever that means, that's just a wrong adjective to be using.
It's an aberration in the democratic setting.
Even in the US.
No, they don't use it.
No.
What they use, see, of course, I live there.
The Bush family still control.
No, but that does not mean. See, the truth of the matter is this: the Bush family,
they still control the.
They don't. They don't. What happens is this: that the Bush family belongs to a particular party, which is Republican Party. But don't forget about the woman who ran as a Democrat against George Bush at the first election. Mm-hmm. That she actually defeated George Bush, even though you will look at it that they have the structure. But the word structure is what I don't like, because just because you are a manager in an organization does not give you the total structure.
The fact that you don't like it doesn't mean that it's a political lingo.
Yeah, I know. The lingo, the narrative.
The lingo perhaps, just like every other thing,
yes.
When it gets to Nigeria, it's just, but I understand what he is saying. We should not take these structures as more than sacrosanct, and we cannot be ideas driven. Okay? The structures can be there, but then you and I have to have that sagacity to know that those are the structures. Okay, now what has the structure got to give to me? What I expect and what I'm going to be prescribing is the Chinese model that we have presently, which is based on the Confucian model of saying, look, irrespective of where you belong, for you to be able to move in an osmotic fashion to the top, you will have been grilled, re-grilled, over-grilled. You'll be one of the first 5 that at the end of the day will be so grilled, will have been tested, you will have run a budget that runs into millions to trillions, you will have done corporate governance in a way, you will have managed people, you will have done succession planning. All those are important,
No,
but what we have...
One thing we have to understand is that
so what we have is that we are not going that, and we are not...
China is not a democracy.
That's what I was going to say.
China is not a democracy.
The model of China is different from what we are
China is
practicing
driven
here.
from culture.
Yes.
They have a political culture which evolved over the years. And
which is working for them.
yeah, it's working for them. We should not
But some
imitate-
elements of democracy comes into choosing who eventually comes out to be a leader. And then the other point is the fact that
The
must
democracy there is a little...
must we all
like
be presidents?
No, we should not...
Must we all be governors?
We should not borrow any more from anybody. We should come up with our own system. We have a system.
I think there's a simple solution to this.
Yes, but
based on the question, the issues
after
you
I've said
raised.
this,
Okay.
in your village, Rashid, there was a way you used to select leaders within communities. It's not really by, ballot, election and all that. They look at your antecedent, look at what you have done in the past. Look at that. That's why most headmasters and
your
teachers...
capacity.
Used to be the ones that are elected to lead communities. Why don't we evolve that, bring it to the center?
That has a democratic element in it, because democracy in itself, not just a government of the people, for the people, and by the people, but the one that delivers the greatest benefits to the greater number. When I prescribe the Confucian method, I am not necessarily saying
Confucian is a philosophy or a religion, more or less.
It's a philosophy. No, there's an element that says
spirituality.
something should be in place to test leaders, to mentor leaders, and then to bring the best of the best to rule at any point in time. So
Right.
whether in the African traditional Oyomesi style that we had, people have been tested and they are made to deliver, finally. These people are not just tested, they have scorecards.
Yeah.
At any point in time, they come and face the populace, the community. This is the kind of money that I had. This is the kind of money I have been able to creatively, bring onto the table. And this is how I've been able to deliver.
Okay, let me ask you.
That's it.
Leaders, are they born or are they
Made.
The truth of the matter is that leaders are made. And in order for you to come out and say you're a leader, you must take self out of that equation.
Leaders are not 100% made.
No, I believe. No, I'm just looking at it.
There's some innate, God-given abilities which you need to refine.
Fantastic.
When you refine it, it becomes made.
Fantastic. But the general...
The bottom line is
the bottom line that leaders leaders are people who feel they can make a difference in life.
Groom themselves
and all that.
Yeah.
So on that note, I'm looking at it this way, that here in Nigeria, we never had a leader. We've been quite unfortunate. It has been very unfortunate to us that we never had a leader who will come to serve the people. And the reason for that is because what they get out of it. So it becomes all commerce affairs. Everybody wants to join in, because that is the quickest way to become a millionaire in Nigeria, which needs to be discouraged. I give you an example. You see, we can talk about the defection up from now till tomorrow. There is a root cause of it. The root cause of it is that people are defecting to get to position themselves so that they can be able to, emerge as the
to reap the economic benefit.
To reap the economic
That's just the thing.
Going forward, I think there's a
yes.
simple solution to that. In order to arrest this craze for jumping in order to acquire political position, a simple political reform should be put in place that you cannot vie for elective office or hold strategic positions in governance until you have spent 2 years in your party. This will checkmate the jumping politicians. And the electorate needs to tell them in bold terms, we are only massaging their ego by calling them the campees. We should label them prostitutes. If they are tagged as political prostitutes, the message will sing to them that they need to watch.
Yeah, these people have no shame, Rashid. The Japanese call it harakiri or some harakiri. Harakiri. If a Japanese is being investigated for stealing money and all that, he just leaves a love note and climbs the mountain. I say, well, receive my soul, oh Lord, here I come. They jump.
Okay, he climbs the mountain and jumps.
By himself.
Our own politicians climb the mountain, come back.
And they buy over the mountain. Okay, they buy the mountain.
And then they port to another party.
Yes.
If you ensure that they can't contest in the new party until they wait for 2 years,
yes,
it will stem the crazy tide of...
No, before they begin to make that distance, there has to be some party
reforms.
Yeah, so that people will learn, there'll be a culture, a new philosophy. They need to believe in one, have a philosophy. You know.
You see, I'm liking this. I'm liking this to American way of, system. An average American who wants to veer for any position knows one thing in his mind, that he's coming in to make a difference. 2, render service. It's not about money, because he will not gonna make any money. His hand will not even touch
The money.
he will not even have access to anything. It's after he had served that he can now come back to write a book, and that's what they get out of it. However, I don't know whether this is about African problems. What gives us the impression that going into government is where you make money?
Yeah, because the system is already
Wait a minute.
Once you get into government,
we have talked about the system. We understand the system.
Avenues for you to make money without asking for it.
Okay, let me tell you, I have a solution to that. Yeah. Because you cannot, now knowing fully well that we are not even as rich as we are not really good to be around money. Why allowing money to be around people who you know that does not have...
Well, they will legislate for it to be around them.
Something very wrong.
They will legislate for it to be around them. So is the wrong mindset, exactly what you are saying. The wrong mindset, and we have to start to ensure that does not pay.
We are running a wrong system. Yes. That is, our culture does not support. That's a major challenge. Nigerian culture, that is national culture, does not support the kind of system that we run. Our heritage does not support it, and because it requires a whole lot of the system is even wrong. So we need to go back and look at the way we used to do things from our home, from our communities. How do we choose leaders? That's the major thing that we have. Botswana has been able to get it right because they did not just take the colonial masters lion, hook, and sinker. They looked at the good part. And then look at their own way. For you to be a chief, yes. For you to be a chief in Botswana, it takes a long process. And then they just included the good thing about the election, so they elevated it to the national level.
And then the sense of shame is what? Elevated to the high pedestal.
Yeah, so that's
not situations where we climb trees, come down, dance, believe that. And then at the end of the day, because we are not going to get a second ticket, we now want to port to another party. Yeah.
All right. It is wrong. Well, the point is made that, again, politics need to be refined. We need to grow a system, a homegrown system, not borrow from anybody, but the point is made, so that the system that we run will be able to have some kind of philosophy. People who believe in one thing should be able to believe. The difference between the Republican Party and Democratic Party is about taxes. The Republicans believe that you need to tax the rich less so that they can use the money to create wealth and employ the poor. But the Democrats say no, that you need to tax the rich more so that and tax the poor less so that they can have some money. So which one? Whichever camp you belong to, you know, you go there. So that is the kind of thing that we need to. What is the philosophy behind our politics? And until we get that, we have a long way to go in democracy. Well, that's where we draw the curtain in this episode of Patitos Gang. You can follow us on social media, YouTube, Twitter, and all the social media platforms. You can follow the conversation. Don't let the conversation stop. Until next time, thank you for watching.